Hi everyone. So I'm not very good at these sorts of things. I don't like giving prepared speeches, but I feel like it's necessary to say something. So I actually found that the New Zealand shooters manifesto. It was kind of hard digging for it. I eventually found it and I read the whole thing. Like it was quite long, like 73 pages. Um, and the main takeaway I got from that thing was I don't think I could have talked him out of it. This is when I look at the news and all the things that they're doing about, all the things that they're reporting. They're all saying the same things and they're cherry picking the manifesto as they, as is it's like it even pretty much says right in there that's what exactly it's like that's exactly what they're going to do. And I think that it's really necessary for people to what I would say you have to stop relying only on the news. The news did not report anything that was untrue. What they did was they didn't report on all 78 pages of it. It's a long manifesto, which means that you're only hearing and seeing a very small slice of what's going on. I'm not the thing had a lot of it presented a lot of information. A lot of it is stuff that I've heard before. And I'm not going to go into big details as to which parts are true and which parts are false. But that's for you to decide for yourself. And the main thing is you have to read the whole thing and decide for yourself whether or not you would be able to talk this man out of doing what he did. Yes, he's already done it. I know. But today I heard another person went out. There's been a shooting in Utrecht, a train. And I know from the manifesto this guy wanted, to start a civil war. I am a coward. I like this cushy life I have. I like working at home. I like to work on making art and video games. I contribute to Western culture. I really, really love my cushy life. I love living in a first world nation. I love safety. I like, being able to travel in take public transit and, walk out on the street and not worry, but go to a public place and just not worry about getting blown up in Toronto. That's really nice. That's a really nice slice of, oh God, that's a really nice slice of Western culture. And I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it. It's really, man, fucking hard to. It's you like, you just like I understand. I understand how this guy feels. I know why he did what he did. This does not mean that I agree with him doing what he does. When people say by any means necessary, that is God, I mean, does that also include mutual destruction. You can't just say by any means necessary. I've heard that said by both sides of the argument, by all sides of the argument. I've heard that. Those are really, really dangerous words. Those, I feel like we may never return to this wonderful, peaceful, all this wonderful stuff that I have is going to go away if we decide to head down the route of civil war. I've certainly heard enough about what goes on with Israel and Palestine to know that it's never completely over. You can, you can never strike a completely decisive blow and completely drive out your enemy. All you do when you do these sorts of things, instead of actually working out working out your differences, is you're just always going to have to look behind your back. You'll be forever watching behind your back, waiting for somebody to run up and stab you with a knife or blow up a bomb or something like that. It's just never, you can say, basically you can just say goodbye to civilization with a civil war like this. In this day and age, with where things are, it is so easy. This is why I'm scared. It is so easy to disrupt what we have. I mean, not that long ago we had down around the Gardner Expressway. This was not a terrorist incident, mind you, but it was some young lady who decided to do something stupid like throw a chair from her condominium or from a friend's condominium onto the Gardner Expressway, onto like a highway, a busy highway. Right now, they were doing it for attention, or like to go on a YouTube video. But I mean, you do something like that. You throw a chair from a high-rise apartment or condominium onto a highway. You cause a lot of, everything's grind to a halt. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much. A shitty chair being thrown onto the highway is all it takes. It does not take much to shut down our infrastructure. Set up a bunch of, like, when you hear about all the stuff that happens around the world about, roadside bombs and that sort of thing, yeah, very easy to shut down. Bring things in a city, grind them to a halt. Doesn't take much. And this is not what I want to see. And when I look at the response of people like, say, the New Zealand PM, she received that manifesto 9 minutes before the actual attack happened. But in any case, that manifesto was in her hands. I doubt that she actually read the whole thing through before calling for an end to firearms and, tougher gun legislation and all those sorts of things already. Yeah, I don't want to get into my political views about that, but this whole business of grandstanding on political positions, the whole hope not hate thing, and like, just there's three things that go into any of these events. There's method, such as whether they use a bomb or they use a gun or whatever. There's method, there's motive, and there's location. So with method, if they don't use a gun, they'll use a knife. If it's not a knife, it's an axe. If it's not an axe, it's like it's a truck. And if you can outlaw a firearm, fine, but then good luck outlawing trucks. Good luck outlawing things doesn't stop them from existing. outlawing, at last I heard, outlawing shooting people up. Didn't work out too well either, did it? And when I look at the law is an instrument. And as an instrument, as a tool, as an implement, there are some things that an implement can do, and there are some things that it cannot do. And one thing I have learned as someone who's just, done cooking, is that when you're trying to cut something with a knife, if you try to cut something that knife is not able to cut, it will cut the next easiest thing to cut, which is you. Don't use an implement to do something it's not designed to do or not able to do. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I'm not a Libertarian. I'm none of these things. None of them. I would describe myself as apolitical. And there's a reason why. I'll tell you why I'm apolitical, why I don't associate with any of these parties. Right? They're like, don't try and stick me on a fucking compass, please. The reason why I'm apolitical is because I feel that when I see these parties coming forward with their solution, they come forward with a solution. One solution. I have worked as a designer. I've done programming. I've done, I know that when people work in design, you don't come forward with one design. You come forward with 3 to 5 minimum designs. Then what you do is you start comparing these designs. You start looking, between these 5 designs or more. And the thing is, it's not just you coming with 3 to 5 designs. It's other people around the table coming with their own designs. And we start comparing, right? It's not about one person within the group winning. We're trying to come up with as many solutions as we can. And we're trying to do a cost-benefit analysis between all of these, and we're trying to figure out, which one of these we're working together to try and solve. And we are criticizing each other's design. We're eliminating them, right? So we have a process of ideation, which is additive, where we're adding all these different design ideas. And then we also go through a process of weeding out the ones that don't work out. Sometimes we take a little bit from this design, we take a little bit from that design, we stick them together, make a new design. And if we can't find something that is really, if there's still some problems, we still refine on it. Sometimes we go back to the drawing board. Sometimes we throw it out and we decide maybe we're trying to do the wrong thing. And then we start the process all over again. New designs. That's not what I see in the political sphere. I see people coming forward with one fucking design. That's why I'm apolitical, because you're doing it all wrong. And you're not, it's not about which of these designs is the best design. It's always about who's in power. Idiots. And when I look at how debates are being held, right? I see debates which are, it's always about fighting with facts and logic. More often than not, I see that these debates are about shouting other people down, getting your 2 cents in edgewise. The spoken format is not full duplex. Okay? Now, it's like a walkie-talkie. Walkie-talkie, only one person can talk at a time. You fucking talk into the walkie-talkie, and then you got to let go of the button so the other person can talk, and then you talk, and then you let go. All right? When I see a lot of debates, I see 2 people with the fucking button held down, trying to make sure their point of view is heard. I don't say you have to agree with the other person, but you have to hear the other person. This is why sometimes I have had debates. When I do them, I do it through text. Like I'll talk to other people, and we're not fighting. You know, we're debating points of view, and we're trying to bring up evidence. I'll have people come in on my stream, and they talk through text. I can't interrupt them. I mean, I could ban them, but that would make me look like a jackass, and that would instantly lose me. And I would instantly lose the debate, right? That would, at least when I talk and people debate me in text, I cannot interrupt them. I can read everything that goes on. It shows up on the screen. There's no, right? Everybody gets a chance to say something. But when I see people who get together on, you know, a Discord or whatever, and they're talking over one another, and I see the same problem in Parliament, you know, in just again in the political sphere. Just bringing this back to the political sphere, I see the same fucking problem. Is that their debating process is everything is so in the moment. It's about winning in the heat of the moment. It's like, oh man, I fucking just said the right fucking words and it sounded really good, and oh, it burned real fucking good. Yeah, you run some water on the fucking burn. It's not about burns. And don't expect, like, it's not television, all right? Television is about the hero, you know, solving the problem by the time the half hour is up in time for commercials. That's television. Sometimes a debate does not get solved in the hour or the 2 hours or the 3 hours in which you're talking. I've had, you know, I've had debates and arguments with my mom before. And I can tell you, you know, sometimes we argue about some of the most, you know, what might sound to you to be the most inane things. Mom, don't come into my room, right? Stuff like that. And you know what? That stuff doesn't get resolved right away. Sometimes we storm away from each other in a huff. And then it's the next day when the emotions are calmer. And it's always when the emotions are a lot calmer that we come to some sort of agreement or a resolution. God, I get along with my mom better than you fucking morons in the debate rooms get along with each other. You don't... I'm not saying you all have to agree with each other and you have to kiss and make up. I'm saying you got to do things by the right process. Shame on you all. How can you call yourselves adults if you can't even let each other finish an argument? Like, you know, let other people finish making a point. And so, if you like your creature comforts, stop trying to rile up for civil war. Stop trying to do this stupid race baiting shit and all this destroy, facts and logic, destroy. Yeah, facts and logic is important. But don't make it about winning against the other person so that they leave the table. Don't make it about, you know, just making the other person look like an asshole and then having them storm off in a huff. It just gets them to, it just cements their position. They become even more resilient and even harder to talk to. I don't care what side you're on. Look at your own process. Debate with the right process. Don't expect to come to a resolution in the heat of the moment. In fact, that is the biggest problem, is that it happens in the heat of the moment. You need to get rid of the heat. The heat needs to go. Well, the heat is an important warning signal, but you mustn't let the heat rule you. It's a great servant, a shitty master though. It's a shitty master. Don't let the heat rule you. Let the heat inform you and warn you. And be able to say to people, be willing to say, I don't have the solution right now. And that's okay. It's not a crime to not have the solutions. It is, however, a terrible, terrible thing to do if you say you have the solution and this is the only way to do it, and to ram these things through when you probably don't have the solution. To be able to say that you have the solution is very arrogant. What was that saying? Problem with the world is that the stupid people are full of confidence and the smart people are all full of doubt. Well, I think we need a lot more people. We need a lot more people with doubts. They've got to be able to have some self-doubt. It doesn't mean that you give up, but you got to have a little bit more self-doubt. And I think that the debates need to be stretched out into a longer format. Please stop trying to win the debate in one sitting. The debate may occur over multiple sittings. And when you hear people starting to get really riled up and really excited, say, look, I can tell you're real passionate about this. I can tell this is important to you. You can say, these are good things to say to the other side. You're not agreeing with them, right? That's not a concession of agreement, but it's saying, I can tell this is important to you. It's important to me too. That means we really do have to find some sort of resolution. I don't have the answer. Maybe between the two of our heads, we don't have the answer. Maybe we need a few more heads. Maybe we need a few people with the right experience and knowledge and understanding. Because I don't want to, I don't want to come to I don't want to have to worry about, getting blown up if I leave the house on the rare occasions that I leave the house. I like, knowing that I could leave the house at any moment and not worry about getting blown up. But now I'm not so sure. And that has pushed me out of my inaction. I don't want you guys to share this video. I'd rather you record your own. I'd rather you record a response. I'd rather you record, or tell, if you agree with me, please just, tell them anytime you see debates going on, practice what I have tried to explain. Try to defuse the situation. Like you're defusing the bomb that is social, that is a civil war. That is a fight. You're trying to defuse the bomb that is, a fight that is brewing. Oh, I get that you might feel, there are people who would actually feel pretty good, man, when their other side, when some tragedy befalls the other side, when a whole bunch of people, I get it, I understand. Doesn't mean I agree with it. When I see these sorts of tragedies occurring, I don't do a candlelight vigil. I don't pray for the victims. I don't know any of these people. I physically am incapable of understanding what it's like because I've never been through that experience. All right? And I don't want to go through that experience. That is what terrifies me. And it should terrify you too. You don't want to go through that experience. And don't cheer on your side. Don't go to your side and cheer them on. Yeah, you got the... Don't. Because all it means is that when you deal a blow to your opponent, you're going to have to watch your back. Maybe for forever. For as long as you cannot completely eradicate them. It will. You just can't. You just make it so that not only do you have to watch your back, but so does everyone else. And the whole thing about being able to live without having to watch your back, that is very precious.